Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Mary Preenon, author of I'm Lazy and I Love to Eat. And I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Phat Chat. That's P-H-A-T, not F-A-T. I have a really great, exciting guest today. Her name is Kelley Hoag, and she is coming to us from Los Angeles. And I'll tell you a little bit about Kelley. She's a behavioral health advisor with a master's in science in applied behavioral analysis and a certificate in integrative nutrition. She's also the founder of Root to Rise Health, and she uses behavioral change and holistic health to help high achievers create a more free and balanced life. And she's got a great website, which you have to check out. We'll tell you more about that at the end. But Kelley, thank you. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Good, good. So tell me all about how you got started in this profession and what it is that you do to help people.
Sure. So it was a windy road, but I started, yeah, exactly. I started by working with kids with autism and various developmental disabilities and really got into behavior work through that. Applied behavior analysis specifically. If you have heard of applied behavior analysis or ABA, it's probably because you know someone with autism. So that's where most of the jobs are in that field. But in doing so, and in getting my degree and getting the promotion that coincided and the office and all the things, I realized that I didn't want to do that. And I wanted to use my knowledge and my education in behavior and apply it to just a larger group of people, more people in different ways. And I'd always been so passionate about health and about wellness and mindfulness. And I was like, I know there's a way to bridge these two. So I quit my job and I moved back to New York, and I became a certified integrative health coach as kind of the bridge. Because I was like, okay, I have this behavior background and I have this love for health, but I need a little bit more to connect the two. So I became a certified integrative health coach, and then was like, okay, so where are all the jobs that combine behavior and health?
Now we need a job. Yeah.
And there really weren't many. So I was like, okay, guess I'm doing this myself. So now I work with men and women to help them create sustainable habits that feel really aligned and feel really true and coincide with their schedule, their wants, their needs, and their soul.
Wow. Well, that is quite a winding road and quite a turnaround for you.
Oh, that's not even half of it, but yeah.
How long have you been out in LA now?
So I moved out to LA about 5 years ago, moved back to New York, to Manhattan for a little while, and then moved back to LA almost 2 years ago.
Wow. And how is it out there? You like it?
I love living in LA. I love New York more, I will say, but I love living in LA. It's just so nice. And the beach just fills my soul. So I'm out here for now, but who knows where I'll end up.
So tell me about, you're all about health, you're all about wellness. How do you help somebody, say, maybe, like my own story, it took me like 19 years to lose 50 pounds because I kept yo-yoing. I did it myself with just the help of like little apps to record like my calories and salt and all that. But how do you help somebody like me, maybe who doesn't really know where to go, or isn't in tune with their body as they should?
Yeah, I have a lot of clients who come to me after years of yo-yoing and having that be embedded too from their parents and their siblings and their family, and it's tough because we get stuck in this cycle of reinforcement and then punishment and restriction and binging. And I've been there myself, and it's tough to break unless we go a little bit deeper, because so often we're looking for the band-aid, right? We're looking for the quick fix. We're looking for the fast diet, the like 21-day shred, but we need to go a little bit deeper, and we need to see what's happening beneath the surface. Part of the reason that I moved away from being so rigid around ABA was because it was only focusing on observable, measurable, overt behaviors. But so much of what drives that is our emotions and our covert
Mhm.
behaviors and what's happening underneath. So we need to address all those limiting beliefs that come up, all the shadow work. I call it shadow work, but it's the emotions that are holding us back. And without addressing that, the behaviors really aren't going to change. So what we do is we get really clear, first and foremost, really clear on what it is you want, where you want to go, and how we're going to do that. So we break it down into 4 steps. First, we identify the goal. Then we identify the reason. Why does this goal matter to you? Is it because you feel like you should be doing it, because you heard it, on the news, because you
Right.
have been there before and you know how good it feels? So we get clear on the reason. Then we identify the obstacle. So what has held you back in the past from achieving this goal? Why hasn't it been achieved? It could be a scheduling thing. It could be a likes or dislikes thing. And then we break it down into steps. So maybe your 3-month goal is to lose a certain amount of weight. What are we going to do? Like, let's back it up. What are we going to do over the next week to get you there, right? So we're not going from, I don't work out at all, to, okay, I'm going to work out every single day. Like, we need to meet ourselves where we're at. So we break it down into steps. And then the last piece is the emotional ties. So we connect our present self to our future self, to the you in 3 months. So often our goals are so overwhelming because that future self seems so far off. So we need to connect. Yeah.
And it's something like, like I said, I struggled for years. And then with the virus, we were all working at home at the time. And what do you do when you're at home? You go to the refrigerator, you go to the pantry. So I gained back, not terrible, maybe like, 6 or 7 pounds, but it's still, wow, And I think a lot of people, what you said, don't think about what is driving them. What are their emotions about? And I guess, for me, it was just like, I'm at home and what's going on with this virus, and people are nervous, and people are, and you, for me, it turned to food as comfort. Oh, I'm going to have sandwich. I'm going to have bread. I don't usually eat breads, but that was it for me. That was my kind of comfort blanket. Like, I don't like what's going on, so I'm going to make myself happy with food.
Yeah. And it's so common. What I found that's really helpful is creating a thread of mindfulness throughout the day. And that looks so different from everyone. And I feel like we get really nervous about that. Cause like, I don't have time to meditate. I don't want to meditate. I've tried that. That's not for me. When I say mindfulness, I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to be meditation. It could be taking a breath before a meal. It could be going for a walk. It could be just 2 minutes of silence. It could be recording yourself like an affirmation. There's so many options, but when we start to slow down, then we're able to connect with our bodies more and understand, okay, how am I really feeling? Am I genuinely hungry? Am I bored? Am I tired? Am I sad? Am I doing this because it's social? That's called the function of the behavior, the reason why. So once we're able to tune in a little bit and identify the function, then we can behave in a way that's aligned with that and what we really need. Because you can go to the pantry and eat all day, but if that's not what you really need, you're never going to have enough, right? You can't get enough of what you don't need.
So are your clients, do they range in different ages, or is it all over?
Yeah, it ranges from about 25 to like 50.
Okay. And is it more women than men, or?
It is more women, but I have a lot of men one-on-one clients, but it is mostly women.
And what have, maybe you could share with us, like some of the results that people have had, even if maybe they don't reach their goal within the time that they had set, maybe they make significant progress during that time.
Yeah. So you mentioned calories and weight and all this. I am a big fan of data and collecting data. I do it a little bit differently though. I measure emotional states, behaviors, all these different things to get the baseline so that we can say, okay, this is actually where you are and this is how far you've come. Because sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit to notice the changes that we have made. So maybe you haven't lost 50 pounds in 3 months, but look at all the amazing habits that you've implemented, all the strengthening your intuition, all the different ways you're loving yourself unconditionally. So there are different benchmarks that I get in the beginning, but a lot of clients will come to me with overwhelm, with anxiety, with stress. And I've never had a client that didn't have that reduced by the end of our partnership. So clients have said, my anxiety is 10 out of 10. And at the, after 6 weeks, it's a 2 out of 10. I've had clients lose weight, keep weight off sustainably. My whole thing is sustainability. Like I said, I don't believe in Band-Aids. I want you to have the tools in your toolbox so that you are able to run free after we're done. I don't want to work with you forever. I want to work with you for the shortest amount of time possible for you to have your goals sustainable and maintained, and then you're set.
What's maybe one tip that you could give somebody who is maybe thinking about this or have, been struggling for years to kind of get them to take the action that they need to take?
It depends on what your goals are. But for what my clients come to me with, stress, overwhelm, mindlessness, to increase being more present, to increase the way, we're mindfully eating, to reduce stress, to reduce anxiety, having a thread of mindfulness is so huge. And I'm a really big fan of having a morning routine that sets you up for success. And I used to be so bogged down by like, okay, I have to meditate for 20 minutes. I have to do yoga. I have to drink hot water with lemon. I have to, no coffee. I'll have tea. Like all these things. And it made me crazy.
Right.
So now I have a few, when I work with my clients, I'm like, okay, I think a morning routine is amazing to set your day up. It really can shift so much, but what are your non-negotiables? What actually makes a difference for you? For me, it is taking time to meditate, but that could be like 5 minutes. It's usually like between 5 and 10 minutes just to ground down, to like, ease into the day instead of spiking my nervous system right off the bat, looking on my phone. So for me, it's journaling and meditation are my non-negotiables. And then sometimes I'll incorporate movement. Sometimes I'll have like a slow cup of coffee, write my to-do list, but those are my things. So I would say if you have a morning routine and you're feeling like, okay, I'm doing too many things or I'm not doing enough, find out what actually feels good for you. You don't need to do it all. Your morning routine doesn't need to be an hour. It doesn't need to be, meet yourself where you're at and notice what actually feels good and stick with that.
Because half the time, I know myself, I'm running out the door,
Yeah.
But Kelley, thank you so much. You've given us such great information. And how can people get in touch with you? We'll put your website up there, but just tell people how they can get in touch. And it doesn't matter where they live, correct? You can do this online.
Right. Yeah. Everything I do is virtual, which has been very helpful. It's always been virtual, so that's great. But yeah, my website is roottorisehealth.com, and I have a free 30-minute alignment call that you can book with me and we can chat it out. That's the best way.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope you have all enjoyed all this great information from Kelley Hoag, and I will see you next week on Phat Chat. I'm Mary Preenon. Thanks a lot for joining me.